Hi, welcome to The Witty Entrepreneur. I am Jennifer Bassman, also known as The Witty Entrepreneur. I am so glad that you have joined me today. I know that you have many opportunities across the internet to learn things, to be entertained, or as I kind of like to start saying now, you're edutained. You're being entertained while you're being educated. Kind of a cool little combo there, right? But I'm super grateful that you're here. I really just wanted to pop in today because I wanted to share a personal win. And before I share that personal win with you, if this is the first time that you've joined one of my live videos or watched any of my videos, just to introduce myself, I am Jennifer Bassman. I am a 20-year business owning veteran. Well, veteran of owning businesses before it sounds like something else. But I have owned businesses in the pet care industry for more than 20 years now. That's so odd to say. But I'm also a certified Strength Finders coach and an expert in dealing with burnout, especially burnout as a small business owner. And I have made it my mission to work with other small business owners that are burned out, are on the verge of burning out, to see if we can't work through that overwhelm, work through those fears of failure, and other contributing feelings that come with the unfortunate feelings of burnout. So I'm glad that you're joining me today because each and every time I get on one of these lives, I actually talk about something that is related to burnout, related to I don't want to say curing your burnout, but maybe preventing your burnout, working through your burnout, but it's a concept that directly ties back to being burned out or becoming burned out. So today, my win that I'm talking about is the power of saying no. This is huge in the world of burnout because one of the things that burns us out or it makes us even experience compassion fatigue, which is another concept that's really very, very similar to burnout, but just has little quirks that are different. But one of the common threads between everybody I know who's burned out, when I was burned out, was the inability to say no. And so today I want to talk about a win about the power of saying no. And this win occurred to me this morning as I was making my to-do list, and my to-do list was shockingly short. It wasn't the long, drawn out, I make pretty detailed to-do lists, don't get me wrong. There's Post-it notes all over the place. Usually you can see just to my left-hand side, well, it's my left, it'll be your right, I guess. I actually have a wall full of Post-it notes reminding me to do things, ideas that I don't want to forget, or it's just simple to-do lists of things that need to get done. And as I was making my to-do list today, it was shockingly shorter than it has been in days in the recent past. And it's not because I necessarily want to say that I've given up on working as hard or I've let go of work, but what I've let go of, I realized, is work that doesn't serve me, tasks that don't serve me, projects that don't serve me. And I'm putting opportunities in quotes because if it doesn't serve you, it's not really an opportunity. I think of an opportunity as something that serves you, that pushes you forward, that's a great experience, that has more of a positive outcome for your life and working towards goals. And it's okay if we have different definitions of what opportunity actually means, but that's why I wanted to define that a little bit. But I was super excited to realize that for myself because that is something that I have really, really had to work on. And over the last several years, yes, years, not just months, but years, saying no, honestly, is a daily struggle for me. It is in my, genes, in my blood to say yes to everything, to want to be a helper, to want to be supportive, and more importantly, want to be seen as a positive person, somebody that's helpful, that has the reputation of stepping up and stepping in when it's important. Well, saying no to things doesn't mean that I won't step up when it's important. I can even say no to things that are kind of important, but it maybe at that moment it's not a great time. So I've gotten a lot better about that, and also the guilt that's associated with saying no is also kind of something that I coach a lot, and I usually kind of have to tackle them in tandem, because it's been bred into us thanks to society, that saying things like no thank you, or I don't think so, or no I can't, or it's not the right time, we feel guilty because we feel like we're letting other people down. And that had to come from somewhere, right? Somebody had to say something. We had to read from somewhere, that that's how other people perceive us, but it couldn't be further from the truth. Quite honestly, when you say no to other things, people aren't nearly as disappointed as you think that they're going to be. They just aren't. That's just our own internal messaging to ourselves, things that we think people are talking about when we say no. But it's more our internal voice, something that we need to work through, something we need to work on, rather than something that somebody's actually doing to us. But, like I said, several months ago, I started running, it started years ago actually, I kind of started running tasks through kind of this little sequence. I asked myself 3 questions when a new task, a new opportunity, a new request is made of my time. There's different labels for all of that, but I run it through kind of a standards test. There's 3 questions that I ask myself. The first question is, how does this get me closer to reaching my goals? And if it doesn't, there's a minus right there. The second question that I ask myself is, what might I miss out on by saying yes? Because obviously when you're busy doing something, you can't really do 2 things at once. You can't really be in 2 places at once. So is that opportunity that somebody's pitching to me, or that project that I've come up with, is that something that's going to get in my way of missing an even better opportunity for myself? The third question that I ask myself when something comes along is, if I say yes, how am I training this person to treat me in the future? And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. In fact, I will do a whole other video on it. We train people how to treat us. So if I say yes to a task, what is this saying to the other person? What message am I sending to them? And a great example of this for me in the pet care industry is if I tell somebody they can pick up later than I normally would let somebody pick up, does that start to set a precedent where they feel comfortable asking me to do that repeatedly? Or is there an understanding that this is a one-time thing? It either is an emergency, there's something special going on, but it's not something that they should expect to happen all the time. But I think that's a really important thing to point out. A really important question to ask yourself is, how am I training that other person to treat me if I say yes to this opportunity? What are expectations? Maybe this is a better way to think about it. What expectations are you bringing into your life? Because those expectations are a responsibility. But it's so much easier, I know right now, I have to point out, to say no in the age of COVID, because you can't really go anywhere, you can't really do much, you don't really want to be around groups of people, so it's a little easier to filter some things out. And I do want to say, I do find it interesting how much easier it's been for some of my clients to say no to things at this point than it was prior to COVID. What about COVID has made people more confident? I think I just found that to be a really interesting little point. But I'm gonna repeat that second question because that I just pointed out, that's part of my 3-question standard list of saying no, because that second question really trips my internal FOMO. I am very, very, very driven by FOMO. Just like my dogs. I mean, it's terrible. Maybe that's why we love each other so much, is because they have a fear of missing out. I have a fear of missing out. We totally bond over that. Maybe that's what unites us. Who knows? But that second question of what might I miss out on by saying yes to something trips my trigger. And I think that it's an important question, an important thought to really hone in on and repeat, because if you spend your time doing work that doesn't fulfill you, or it doesn't it's not a good fit, you're going to miss out on an opportunity that is a good fit, something that does work for you. So just keep in mind that, you know, you kind of have to take a breath when somebody asks for something, requests something, you have a project. And this is hard for my StrengthsFinder activator as well, that's in my top 5, that is very impulsive and wants to just immediately answer somebody. I have to take a breath, take a step back, and remember that I have 3 important questions to ask myself in order to say yes to something. So if I can't say yes, the obvious word I'm going to have to use is no. And how I couch that word is up to me and is kind of situation dependent. But I want to hear from you. In the comments, you're welcome to shoot me an email, because I'm always curious what creative ways or what consistent ways have you found to say no to people. And also, I'd love to hear your wins around saying no. I did post something a few weeks ago about, quit trying to please everybody, you're not tequila. And that really seemed to resonate with a lot of people, because we are big on people pleasing. I know I'm big on people pleasing, but I want to make sure that we're talking about things that are helpful. Just really, they kind of hone in on specific situations or relatable situations for you especially. So I want to hear what you've said no to lately, and how that was a win for you. And what creative ways do you say no to people? How do you deal with a pushy person that just keeps asking and will not take no for an answer? I mean, I have some ideas of my own. I call those people boundary pushers, and I gladly push them off a cliff. I'm a lot more confident in saying no, but I would love to hear what you've said no to lately that has opened the door to a better opportunity. Because I think that's a really important concept to consider, especially when you have FOMO, which I know a lot of people, not just your dogs or my dogs or me, a lot of people have FOMO. When have you said no recently to something that it actually turned out to open a door to a better opportunity, a better situation? Would love to hear those responses. I'm glad you joined me today. I had a great time talking with you. Please feel free to share these videos, share this information, talk amongst your friends about it. You'd be surprised at the number of people, I know I am, that feel the same way or think the same way that you do. They're just waiting for you to say something. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're addressing some burnout. You're addressing some new concepts to deal with that burnout, or impending burnout even, or if you just wanted to learn a different way to say no. But thanks for joining me today. As always, if you need to find me, I am here on this page all the time. You can reach me through Facebook, and you can also reach me at jennifer@jenniferbassman.com. Have a great day, and don't forget to say no.